But the phoenix is the one that consistently is the same. And so as the phoenix is realigned, and we begin to pump energy into those specific filaments of the grid, we see the phoenix rise. And we see the dark matter of the earth and of nature begin to dissolve and float away as a mist, kind of like the story of Brigadoon, where, or High Brazil, where this island rises out. Once every 100 years you can go and visit Brigadoon, and it's still, it's like the Amish. They still live like they did 100 years ago. And it's a fairy realm, what we call an etherealized realm. And there's more of those kinds of realms than there are of our corporeal realm, believe it or not. But so as the phoenix rises, more and more of the eastern United States and Canada down into the Gulf become etherealized, and so you make more and more contact with creatures and people that live in these other realms. So believe it or not, I'm going into some detail, and there are many controls put over this, so there's nothing to worry about. But there are realms where dinosaurs still live, etherealized realms of the earth, and there are realms where angels commune with man. Yeah, and there's literally, there's 7 main havens on the earth, and they correspond to these 7 frequencies of the chakras. But each of them can connect with a different etheric realm. So the earth is overpopulated now because it's an opportunity for people that want to see this process firsthand to actually take part in it. So you see an enormous immigration of people coming to the United States and anywhere else that the masters have designated as ground zero for the light appearing in the form of a figure on the landscape. Now, in the beginning, it'll take the form of like spiritual islands. Serpent Mound is on an island. It's in the shape of that hexagonal grid. But there's many, many other islands similar to it all over the planet. And anybody that goes to those islands will pretty much be safer than people that aren't. But ultimately, as the phoenix rises, there's going to be so much light being released that people may as well forget about being greedy and just give away all your money and never kill any more animals, and you pretty much be safe from the light as the phoenix rises. Just stop being greedy and harmful to anybody in any way, and just trust in the spirit within you and without to take care of you. Become a saint, to the best of your ability, even though it might seem like a tremendous, insurmountable task. Just give it all up and give out, and you'll be safe. But otherwise, if you can't do that, you will not survive this wonderful revelation that's about to happen. George Frederick Handel quoted Scripture when he said, "And all flesh shall see it together." But for some who are very thick with the darkness, embedded in the darkness, it'll be like a nuclear bomb went off. Your flesh will be torn off and it's bye-bye. Wherever you've attained spiritually, that's where you'll go for that 1,000 years or wherever, or whatever time you're allotted. So it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Be true to your spouse. Be in love. Give whenever you feel it needs to be given. Don't be a people pleaser. That's not necessary. Just do what you are bid to do. Follow your faith. Follow your bliss. Whatever is your love, as Joseph Campbell used to tell us. So, it's happening. And it's analogous to the story that the Greeks and the Egyptians left us. And it also is analogous to the spiritual process that we all have within us when we have that human form. I might add that the one we call Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Rumi, and everybody that's ever been a messianic figure, Guru Nanak, in the past, is coming back in the form of the great ceremonial master, and that ceremonial master, I believe, is going to make his first appearance in 2017 or 2018. something like that. And some of the work that I'm doing is kind of like a precursor to announcing the coming of the master. And that master will be initiating people and explaining all the mysteries of the phoenix and trying to get people to meditate and so forth, and just pretty much being an early warning system for the phoenix rising. So we can look forward to that. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, all of those states are blessed. They're all going to become part of the great Edenic field complex again. And the people that farm on those lands, well, yeah, anyway, it's all a very natural process, too. It's not like we're being invaded by aliens, because we're not. Because, the aliens are us. Anybody that's incarnated here from some higher plane has to take on the human form. And for that, we're all created equal, like Thomas Jefferson said. We're all made equal.
Now, for me, Ross, on the psychiatric unit, since I am a psych nurse myself, and just the approach of seeing different people in a different light, not as a diagnosis, nor from their own skin color or nationality, as they come walking through the double doors of the psychiatric unit here, but as one is able to surpass what is observed from their eyes, let alone from their five senses. Truth becomes an awareness that goes way beyond the apparent limitations, and just to view and observe more of humanity within this light, this approach as entities and as a species where we are in actuality more or less connected and in unity as opposed to being separate. And when we can see this unity as the common denominator from amongst all of us, once we are to surpass the clutter, the diversion, the complexity of things, then shall we all see that this whole experience comes from many different interpretations, different stories, but they all come together in unity once we have all run the course through this grand musical stage performance, where the performer is the audience and the audience is the performer. And Ross, this is the root of what this whole entire experience is all about, becoming aware of this fact, passed all through the illusion. And the only way to do this is through the closer and more intuitive examination of self, the self through meditation. And yes, you have made many references before, Ross, to our many set conversations about the power indeed of meditation, and in how there is a spiritual enlightenment involved and movement, for that matter, for this practice within meditation, specifically to look within ourselves for the answers, and to finding ourselves from within, from what had been forgotten, which is essentially the last frontier, not space in itself as what was once taught of billions and billions of light years away, but essentially from that which is found from within.
Absolutely. It's within. That's the key of the whole thing. Reverse your attention. Focus on the seat of the soul. It's behind the eyes where the optic nerves meet, and that will stimulate your pineal. And that's the best way to do it. I mean, there's certain foods you can eat that'll help you too. Carrots, help, and lots of orange juice and fresh, vitamin-rich things. And there's also certain herbs that can be used that will help to stimulate your pineal. But mostly it comes from your own hard effort of reversing your attention. Yeah, have you ever felt somebody's eyes on you, Joel? We all have. Yeah, and when you stare at somebody, sometimes they'll be shocked and they'll turn around and look at you, because there's a lot of power in the attention. And if you can learn to reverse your attention, you'll have more burning power to cut through to see the light of your own soul and God within you than any amount of staring outside will ever give you. So, learn to turn your attention inward. Become Arval-looking glass instead of Arval-looking horse. Look inside yourself and see the light, see the spark, and hold to it and become divine. And that's spirituality. That's the birth of your spirituality right there. Never let it go. Become divine. That's what the serpent represents. That's our phoenix rising.
And Ross, yes, what a beautiful description of not only a philosophy of sorts, but of an inspiring representation of spirituality that is actually paralleling what is happening today in evolution. As more and more people are awakening within us now, this presence, our reality, the beginning of a so called 2,000 years of an awakening, indeed, as Earth is being graced once more by the hand of God, and for which many Catholics and Christians may refer to as once more heaven placed dearly again upon earth.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, this has just been an amazing experience for me. Definitely an honor and a privilege to having you here on the show. Yes, Mr. Douglas Ross Hamilton, author of The Mystery of the Serpent Mound, a tradition of giants and star mounds, and yes, a wonderful and dear friend. Ross, the Great Awakening continues. Yes.
Yeah, Phoenix Rising.
The Phoenix Rising, yes indeed. So bless you, my dear friend, and have a wonderful journey here. And I thank you, dear listeners, for joining us here on Quantum Mindfulness Radio.